My name is Tony Ayers, and my intended major is Computer Information Systems with a concentration in Data Analytics.
Today we're going to learn how to create pivot tables in Microsoft Excel. The provided data shown here is from a made-up company that sells various household products either online, in their store, wholesale, or sold to their distributor. First, let's add gross margin column to the data. Gross margin is used to indicate gross profit compared to revenue or sales. Let's click on cell S1, type in our header, gross margin, and in cell S2, we're going to enter a formula for calculating gross margin, which is unit price minus unit cost divided by unit price. When we look at the data, we see that unit price and unit cost is provided to us. Let's create an attribute to calculate this number. Enter an equal sign, which let Microsoft Excel know that you're going to process a calculation. Let's do open parenthesis, P2, which is unit price, minus Q2 for unit cost, close parenthesis, divided by P2, which is unit price. We get a number 0.49. In the bottom right-hand corner of my tab of my cell here, you double click until it gets a plus sign, and then that calculation is going down all the way to the bottom of the worksheet. Now, let's change the formatting for these numbers. Let's click back on column S, right-click, format cells, percentage, change that from 2 to 0 decimal places, because actually gross margin is calculated as a percentage, not a decimal, and click OK. Right. So now let's select all of our data. You can do it multiple ways where we're going to select Control A on our keyboard, which highlights all of the data. And then we're going to go to the option for Insert, Pivot Table, on Table Range, and then a dialog box will appear here, which shows all of the data. And we're going to choose New Worksheet, which is fine, and click OK. All right. And so then we have this dialog box over here to the right where it says Pivot Table Fields. And then let's just say you click somewhere in the option and it goes away. You can click back on this, and it shows the Pivot Table Fields will reappear. Now let's begin to build our table. We're going to start with rows. So let's click on Ship Date, move that down over to rows. And then we're going to click on Sales Channel and move it over to the columns area. Now let's adjust our rows to show only quarterly numbers, since most businesses run their numbers on a quarterly basis. We're going to click on a downward triangle next to years and ship date to remove the fields. So ship date, downward triangle, remove fields, and years, downward triangle, remove fields. Now let's add two calculated values, gross margin and order quantity. So we're going to go over to order quantity and move that over to values and gross margin and move it over to values as well. Now, for gross margin, I want to look at the average of gross margin. So click on the downward triangle, value field settings, click on average, go to number format, click on number, and we want 2 decimal places, and click OK. And click OK again. Now for sum of order quantity, the drop down arrow right there, value field settings, we're going to click on sum, number format, and we go number. We're going to change it to 0 decimal places and use the comma as a separator that makes it easily visible. And click OK. And click OK again. Now we're going to show a pivot chart slicer to show the relationship between a particular product, which is sculptures, and sales channels for online sales. You can click anywhere on the table. We're going to click on Insert, move over to the Filters option, click on Slicer, and once again, we're going to do the relationship between the sales product and sales channel. So sales channel, and here is the product. Okay. So based upon what you click on a product, it will change the information in this table. And this is say you click on online, it will condense it even more to show only the relationship between the bar tools and online sales in this table here, quarterly basis. All right, so we're going to look actually for sculptures. And in store and online. Okay. Now let's add a pivot chart using the same data with the line on the secondary axis. Let's click back on our table, go to Insert, Pivot Chart, pivot chart again, down to combo, select here for cluster column line of secondary axis, and click OK. Smooth this over. And you can actually tell from the graph here that the sales were actually a little bit higher for sculptures sold in store versus online. Now, if you ever forget how to process a function, the help option in Excel is extremely useful. To get to the help icon, you click on help here, question mark, and let's just say you forgot how to do a slicer. You'll type in slicer here, and Excel will give you step-by-step instructions how you can process that particular task. All right, and this has been a presentation on how you can create pivot tables in Microsoft Excel. Thank you.